sloppy loss, BYU fumbles this game away literally, and the Utes take full advantage and drop a 40 spot in the second half.
Nights tonight, the Cougars are at home again to battle it out against the University of Central Florida. That game kicks off in just about 6 hours. Into Provo on Saturday to kick off BYU's home season. And diehard Cougars, viewer discretion is advised. Some of the images you will see are graphic. Opening drive, the crowd yelled a slow motion, "No!" as Jake Heaps picks up a bad snap only to lose it again in the end zone. Come on, man. That made ESPN's Not Top 10. Utah goes up a touchdown. Next possession, Joshua Juice Quezada takes a handoff from Heaps and whoops, out comes the ball. JJ DeLuigi gets in on the turnover action, losing the rock inside the Utah 10. Hate it when that happens. The second quarter brings out the last bright spot for the Cougars. Heaps throw a long bomb to Ross Appo, who gets his third TD catch of the season. BYU takes the lead 10-7. BYU defense ready to rumble with Kyle Vanoy interception, but the offense just couldn't turn that into points. Utah goes up into the half, 14-10 on a 30-yard hookup. 4 points should be easy to make up, right? But the Cougars were feeling charitable with the ball in the second half. J.D. Falslove takes a kickoff to the helmet, and there goes Utah. BYU's giving out early Christmas presents. Utes recover and go up 30-10. On the Cougars' drive at the end of the third, Heaps not only gets sacked, but the ball says bye-bye. Utes chip in another field goal. The next Cougar drive, no one lost the ball, but the Cougars failed to convert on a 4th and 2. We feel your pain, Ross Appo. Fans run for the exits like fumbles cause fires. And it wasn't just fumbles. Heaps' ball deflected into the hands of a Ute. That led to another Ute touchdown. Utah ahead 27 points, and the bad dream just wouldn't end. QB2 Riley Nelson comes into the game and just couldn't resist. It's a fumble. Utah takes it all the way for a little deja vu action. The misery finally ended at 54-10. Its worst rivalry loss since 1922, and Utah fans chant, "It's all over" in our beloved LaVelle Edwards Stadium.
For all of you that bailed at halftime or live under a rock, here's what you missed. Our Cougars held their own in the first half, heading into the locker room down by a respectable 4 points. But the second half was an entirely different story. The Cougs did not score at all, unless you count the fumbles that led to points given away to our BFFs up north, the Utes. They dominated in yards, outrunning us by more than 100, and it definitely shows in the final score.
With wounds from Saturday's loss, Coach Mendenhall was surprisingly cool and collected at the post-game press conference. While many fans are sulking about the results, Mendenhall is using it as a teaching moment.
Personality is much more one of teaching, and so when I see them today, I'll show them the things that clearly could be corrected, that are in our control, ask for them to make sure they put emphasis on those things, and look forward to applying those things against our next opponent.
And Coach won't have to wait long for the next opponent. It's game on against UCF in just hours, and Cougar fans will see very quickly tonight whether those lessons have been learned.
There's no doubt that fans all over the state were caught up in the rivalry last Saturday. Coug 2 reporter Christina Seeley says there was even a little wager involved.
It wasn't exactly high-stakes Vegas odds-making at play here, but it was the Holy War, and as you know, that's serious stuff.
The final seconds mercifully brought Saturday's game to an end, but rivalry week isn't over yet at the Provo Courthouse. Utah Valley Chamber of Commerce President Steve Densley is serving a week of penance. He and his Salt Lake counterpart have a wager on the Holy War, but they're not playing for money, they're playing for bragging rights.
Well, the bet has been every year for the last several years is that the winning team, the other team has to fly their flag in their chamber offices through the entire week.
At the Salt Lake Chamber, spokesman Marty Carpenter can work easy knowing that the Ute flag is flying in Provo. The bet is a friendly one, and the losers have fun with their misfortune.
They're good sports down there, and took the photo, sent it our way, and we had it up on our blog and on our homepage.
The flag originally flew outside on a flagpole, but now Densley displays it in his offices because somebody keeps stealing it.
These Cougar fans are vicious. They would steal the flag. We just got tired of buying new Ute flags.
Anything they can do to contribute not only to supporting the Utes, but also spurring economic growth, we'll take that.
As for Densley, he's going to have to wait a while for his shot at payback.
Fortunately, it's the last day of the enemy flag flying in Provo. The Chamber gets to take it down at the close of business today, just in time for the Central Florida game. Brianna?
Thanks, Christina. Even though the 2011 version of BYU versus Utah didn't have a storybook ending, CougTube reporter Blake Tillotson looks back at the year 2006, a game that did end happily ever after, so much that it's now a children's book.
Few BYU football tales are more heart-stopping than Beck to Harlene's last-second game-winning play.
Go! Find this guy! Touchdown!
Coug fans simply know it as the answered prayer. It was more than just a game. It was everything BYU football stands for: class, culture, and belief. Those very qualities inspired a couple of brothers to recreate that exhilarating moment in a children's book they call The Answered Prayer.
Yeah, I mean, just reading stories to my kid at night, and then I got sick of reading stories about animals, and so I started recreating sports stories that I remembered from a kid.
And after what happened here on Saturday, BYU fans are going to need a bedtime story of the good old days to help them fall asleep at night. Unlike most book signing promotions, The Answered Prayer is also available as an interactive app.
So yeah, we got the printed book, which is great. It's got big, beautiful, illustrations, and then it's got the soundbite at the end of the Greg Wrubell play call that never gets old. And so people like that. But what we're really excited about is the interactive app. We wanted to do something that kind of brought the stadium experience home, or to the palm of your hand.
The authors say they already have other stories outlined, so maybe a Jimmer children's book is next.
When CougTube returns,
Flippin' sweet. BYU women's soccer player shows off her 6 skills and how it stirs up trouble.
Bronco and the boys look to shake off the cobwebs from last week's loss and try to avoid back-to-back home losses for the first time since 2003. The Cougars are 7-4 under Friday Night Lights since 2000, but if the Cougars can't make completions in the red zone, that statistic might be null and void. UCF is also looking for a comeback win after losing last week to Florida International. The Knights sport the best pass defense in the country, allowing just 93 yards a game, which could prove lethal for Heap's passing game. The key for BYU is to not allow turnovers. When a team turns the ball over 7 times in a game like BYU did last week against Utah, there is no recovering. They self-destruct. And even though Jake set a career high with 305 passing yards last week, he only had 1 touchdown to show for it, and that has to change. BYU's defense needs to stay focused in the second half no matter what happens. For UCF, they have to protect their quarterback. Last week they gave up 6 sacks, and you know that Jordan Pendleton will want a piece of that. The name for the game for UCF is Adam Neasley. Already one of UCF's best blockers and strongest player, he is a clutch pass-catching tight end. He already has 9 catches for 140 yards on the season.
BYU women's soccer team took on the Utah State Aggies last night and struggled during the first half. The Cougars couldn't seem to get past the Aggie defense, and senior goalkeeper Mackenzie Olsen kept Utah State out of the net as well. Going into the second half tied 0-0. The Cougars fought to get points on the board with 18 minutes of play remaining. All-American center back Lindsay Lisenby headed in the game-winning goal off a corner kick by Jessica Ringwood, giving the Cougars a 1-0 lead. The Cougars outshot Utah State 12-7 and ultimately kept the Aggies from scoring before the clock struck 0. The Cougars are now 5-3-2 on the season and will face their first WCC opponent, Portland, next Thursday. Tonight's kickoff is 6 hours away, and the dedicated Cougar fans are already gearing up for a Cougar win. They brought stuff to grill as well. CougTube reporter Brittany Good is live at the
So the trailers haven't yet pulled into the parking lot, but they soon will be any minute to get set up for what promises to be a great tailgating party. People will bring their trailers, fifth wheels, barbecues, and of course, lots of food. We're also going to set up buses and chairs and tents for fans that just want to stop by. The word has also been given out to fans from both teams to come enjoy what they can. I'm here with Mike McQuain, who is a Cougar tailgater and actually came up with the idea of the tailgate. Mike, where did the idea?
Oh, Brittany, that's simple. We had some friends that went back to the game at Ole Miss. Then the following week, they went to Austin to the Texas game. They came back with incredible tales of hospitality and how people welcomed them right in, fed them, shook their hand, talked to them, just brought them right into their family. And so really, we saw what tailgating is all about, big-time tailgating when it's done right. We came back to Provo and said, we got to get this going in Provo, and what better time than here for UCF with these fans coming from Florida.
Okay, so do you want this to be just a one-time event, or are you trying to make a tradition here at BYU with tailgating?
Oh, no, heavens no. We want to get a tradition going here in Provo, especially now that the university has come out with the fan video, and they have encouraged it openly to tailgate. We want this to be an experience, and we just want it to start today and grow like crazy. We're in it to win it.
Awesome. So what should fans expect when they come by here today?
You know, pretty much anything that sounds great at a tailgate. Burgers, brats. I've got some ribs I'm going to cook up, steaks. It's all going to be here, all the trimmings. Get here early, avoid the traffic hassles, kick back, and just have a great time with college football and making some new friends from Florida.
All right, thanks, Mike. Make sure you save some of those ribs for me later this afternoon. So there you have it, a new Cougar tradition of tailgating starting right here in Provo. So if you like food and want to celebrate the game with other football fans, come stop by the Marriott parking lot whenever you have time. Brianna, the party is on.
Thanks, Brittany. I'll see you there. The success of this team, our soccer team, might be a secret weapon because they've got somebody this season who sure knows how to throw. CougTube reporter Devin Dewey takes us to Southfield to show the strangest but most graceful soccer throw you'll ever see.
When it comes to scoring opportunities, Jaden Thornock has a unique skill. Look at that. She can launch the ball from the sideline all the way to the goal with an acrobatic flip throw.
When I was 12 years old, actually, I was watching a BYU women's soccer team game, I guess, and one of their players did the flip throw, and I was like, wow, I really want to do that. So I went out into my backyard and I practiced for about 2 hours, and then I was able to do it.
The throw not only looks cool, but can cause a lot of problems for the other team.
Well, obviously, when you get a throw in, the defense kind of crowds. You assume it's a 15, 20, maybe 25-yard throw in. And so you get somebody up there, and if the other team doesn't know it's coming, you got someone who can throw it 25 to 35 to maybe 40 yards if she gets a good one off. So just with that throw in alone, you can really unlock the defense and get behind it.
Not only are her coaches happy with Thornock's flip throw, but the fans love it too.
Oh, it's awesome. I know that every time she does it, it just totally gets the crowd going.
As only a freshman, Jaden has a lot more to offer the BYU women's soccer team. We look forward to watching her in the seasons to come. At Southfield, Devin Dewey, CougTube.
If you want to see Jaden doing her flip throw live, make sure you come to their next game on October 6th at Southfield. Get there early and get a front row seat.
When CougTube returns, Seeing Stars, Jimmer's back, and he brought some new friends home to meet the family.
And Cougar Cubs, which power couple is back in Provo with 2 future recruits in tow? Don't touch that dial. CougTube will return. Jimmer's back, and he got an encore last night at the Marriott Center. Standing ovation and all, he brought a few of his friends along, and perhaps a big rival. CougTube reporter Sean Gordon got a first-hand look at their first matchup between Kemba Walker and Jimmer Fredette.
He's the consensus player of the year. He led his team to an improbable national championship. Jimmer Fredette and Kemba Walker were arguably the best players in college basketball last year, and many still debate which of the two is better.
I mean, I think both are capable of hitting shots and distributing. I think Jimmer's a really good spot-up shooter. I think Kemba's terrific because he's so quick at creating a shot for not only himself but for his teammates. So
the two met head-to-head on the court last night in the Marriott Center for Jimmer's All-Stars game. And not only were they on opposing teams, but they spent a good amount of the game guarding each other.
Jimmer, he's a great player. He can score the ball very well, and he gets his teammates involved, and he just loves to win. He has a great passion for the game.
Jimmer and Kemba met during the team tryouts leading up to the draft, but this is the first time the public got to see them together, and the fans didn't leave disappointed. Who had the better game? It's hard to tell. Jimmer poured in 27 points and dished out 10 assists, while Kemba scored 23 and grabbed 6 rebounds. Ultimately, Kemba got the last laugh, though. At the Marriott Center, Sean Gordon, CougTube.
Once the NBA lockout ends, the rivalry can continue, with Kemba waiting on the Charlotte Bobcats and Jimmer heading to the Sacramento Kings.
Jimmer isn't the only All-Star returning to campus. Harvey and Kaylani Unga are back hitting the books. CougTube reporter Kika Latu met up with the Ball and Power couple to talk about their return to campus.
Harvey won't be tearing up the field with the football team this season, but both he and his wife are back in full standing with the university and with new priorities.
BYU's all-time leading rusher and power forward basketball wife have traded in the football field and the basketball hardwoods for the classroom. This time around, the full-time students are married and now have 2 kids.
Jackson and Layla, I think, just bring so much joy into our lives that everything that we do is worth it.
After leaving BYU for an honor code violation more than a year ago, Harvey played for a short time with the Chicago Bears before returning to Provo.
There's just some things that I need to take care of for myself, away from football.
Through thick and thin, Harvey and Kaylani say they have no regrets.
It really is a blessing in disguise to have our kids now and everything we went through.
Trading down a set hike for diapers, bibs, and bottles, Harvey says he doesn't mind the change.
Really, whenever you have a bad day, it's always nice to have kids around. They make the best out of you.
The plans after graduation are still up in the air for the new family, but one thing's for sure, family first.
If football is an opportunity, I think it'd be advantageous for us to, to kind of take that path again. However, that's definitely not our focus at this time.
In Provo, Kika Latu, CougTube.
So 2 kids and they're juggling full-time classes. How does that work?
Somehow they make it work. There will still be sports. Harvey's playing intramural football right now, and Kaylani's working out with the women's basketball team. She's redshirting this season, but is ready to hit the boards full force next season.
Great. Thanks, Kika.
A little short-term memory loss was all the women's volleyball team needed, forgetting about last month's loss against St. Mary's and answering it with a 3-0 win in the rematch here in Provo. Last night, Jennifer Hampson led the Cougars with 12 kills. She leads the conference in kills this season, averaging 4.3 a game. Senior Casey Thurston added her own season high with 8 kills to the team's first conference victory of the season. BYU takes their ranking as the best blocking team in the conference to LA, where they take on Loyola Marymount on Thursday.
When CougTube comes back, experts predict. See who we think will fare best when the Knights play in our kingdom tonight.
And today we have clear skies, warm temperatures, but how long will the nice weather last? You're live in Game Day Weather when we return.
Chantal, it's the first day of fall, finally.
I know, and it's gorgeous outside. I absolutely love it.
Beautiful football weather.
Exactly. Like, you really don't have to worry about snow and anything like that like we do later in the season. But let's go ahead and take a look at our weather shut outside. This is actually Squaw Peak, and look at the skies are clear. It's beautiful. There's a few pinpricks of color out there, but you know what, in the next couple weeks that is definitely going to be changing, and it's just going to be splashes of red and yellows. Let's go ahead and take a look. Currently right now it is 66 degrees outside with humidity about 35% and wind speeds at 7. So it's calm, cool, perfect. Make sure you get outside and spend the day. And what better way to celebrate fall, the first day of fall, with a football game? And for our game day weather today, it's going to be actually highs in the mid-80s today, so hitting around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when you can go to the Marriott Center, get some hot dogs and drinks and stuff, getting ready for that. 6 p.m. Lavelle Edwards Stadium, and highs of the 70s by the time we get to kickoff at that time. And our set map right now, the reason why we've been having such wonderful temperatures is because we have this ridge of high pressure, but you know what? Here's our trough of low pressure that'll actually be pulling in through unto Monday. So take a look at southern Utah, and we're actually not really going to be getting a lot of moisture for this time of the year. 98 to 96, 94, and just a few degrees higher in northern Utah. It's going to be mid-80s, going down into 78 by next week. So Brooke, the weekend looks fabulous. It's going to be great. And go Cougars. Let's see.
Thanks, Chantel. And now for everyone's favorite part of the show, predictions. I'm no longer undefeated after BYU's tough loss at Utah, but on the bright side, at least I'm not 0-4 like Brianna.
Thanks a lot, Brooke.
Here's our predictions for this weekend. We have BYU and UCF, which should be a great matchup. And then we have number 2 LSU and number 16 West Virginia. So here's our picks. I am the only one to pick USC. I'm feeling kind of ashamed about that. I think most of us have LSU as well. What do you guys have to say?
Cosmo doesn't want to listen to you, Brooke. He doesn't want to listen to you. Don't listen, Cosmo.
If Jake can get hit more than his 1 touchdown that he lost himself each game, we might have a chance, but I'm feeling UCF. Really am.
Come on, Cougars. That's CougTube for September 23rd. I'm Brianna Carr.
And I'm Brooke Davis. Thanks for joining us, and have a great afternoon.